when it comes to Kadena, what's next? Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the co-founder of Ethereum but the founder of Cardano, he recently responded to the post that Kadena made a post on when it comes to X. Now, that post was, of course, regarding how basically the Kadena organization was going to be ceasing operations, and Charles, he responded by saying anyone from the Kadena ecosystem want to reach out. Now, this is very vague. It's very ambiguous in my opinion. It doesn't really say what is he really trying to do. But then my point of view is this. Either maybe he could try to save the Kadena organization, in which case, in terms of his capital, I don't see why he would not be able to. Doesn't mean he will, right? Doesn't mean he will do that. But then in theory, maybe he could. I mean, again, co-founder of Ethereum, founder of Cardano. He even has supposedly this jet, or should I say a private jet, that he sometimes rents out, I've seen online allegedly, to some celebrities. So yeah, when it comes to Charles, I don't think he's going to be ceasing operations much like the Kadena organization anytime soon, at least from what I can tell. So he's not, worried about that capital aspect, I would say. But will he do that though? Who knows? Or is he maybe trying to hire some people from the Kadena organization? Again, only time will tell. But my kind of thought process is this. If, let's say, he were to, quote-unquote, rescue the Kadena organization and kind of prop it up and make it operational again, what I wonder is why Charles, as the founder of Cardano, again, a layer 1 blockchain, want to help Kadena, or should I say the Kadena organization, and then Kadena is a layer 1 blockchain. In theory, even though Kadena I don't think is ever going to be as popular as Cardano, it's still a layer 1 blockchain, right? I mean, indirectly, maybe I would consider it to be a competitor somewhat. It's not really going to be a direct competitor because, Cardano is just a much bigger layer 1 blockchain, and now the future of Kadena as a layer 1 blockchain is kind of uncertain with this Kadena organization supposedly ceasing operations. But then again, would he be willing to, let's say, help the Kadena organization become up and running again? Whereas, again, Kadena as a layer 1 blockchain is a layer 1 blockchain much like Cardano. Who knows what his intention is? But at least it's something for me to look forward to. Maybe, right? But it's still very ambiguous, it's still very vague as of right now. Now, clearly, I'm not telling him to do anything when it comes to KDA or when it comes to, again, just what people want to do with KDA. This is just my perspective when it comes to the situation. But at the same time as well, we've seen that post where when it comes to Kadena, they were talking about how they are wanting to kind of transition, right, to community governance and maintenance. So quite essentially, having Kadena thrive still without kind of the Kadena organization. Now, granted, we've seen time and time again things thrive without really anything kind of looking for it, if I were to put it that way. Because, for instance, we take a look at Bitcoin. Sure, Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator of Bitcoin, allegedly. But what is kind of running Bitcoin, right? I mean, there isn't like this central organization that's kind of doing that, supposedly, from what I can see. Even if I take a look at Luna Classic, even after that went down, right, basically, and the price went just way down, it's still, even right now, one of the most popular projects out there. And that really, I mean, come on, what is looking after that? That's the way to take a look at it. And there's still a very good fan base. A lot of people actually still believe in that. And I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I know personally some friends out there who still hold Luna Classic and are still dollar cost averaging for some reason. And when it comes to Kadena, I'm not saying the same thing will happen because I think Luna Classic, just because it was so massive before, it just still had more fans that stuck around. And also on top of that, just because of the notoriety of what happened to it, there's still that community. When it comes to Bitcoin, of course, it's the most popular thing out there that we have right now within this space. Kadena is never going to be as popular as that, right? But then we've seen basically some other projects out there thrive really without an organization kind of looking after it. That's just the point that I wanted to make. So is Kadena in theory still going to stick around? I mean, KDA, its native cryptocurrency, is still going to be around. Even if the market cap, in theory, for whatever reason, went to like $1,000, in theory, that's still around, right? Now, that's a very extreme example. But what I'm saying is, Kadena, hypothetically, as a layer 1 blockchain, could still stick around. But then what I wonder is that, is it really going to be doing that well, right? But then at the same time, my kind of mentality is during an altcoin season, because I don't think I've seen one during this cycle, things just randomly pump sometimes. And it's like even the projects that people don't really care about, some projects out there that kind of got abandoned by the team, some other projects out there that the team just kind of stopped working on, for whatever reason, they just have this random kind of rise. And it's just the space that we're in as of right now. That type of stuff just happens. As of right now, it's kind of like the notoriety, kind of the sort of cool factor. It doesn't even really need such a good use case in some cases. But when it comes to Kadena, again, just like I mentioned in my previous video, when it comes to, regarding this post, which I actually talked in greater detail, so feel free to check that video out if you want to see me kind of talk about it more in greater detail when it comes to what Kadena specifically wrote in that post when the Kadena organization was talking about ceasing operations. I'm only speaking on my behalf. I can't speak on anyone's behalf, and I'm not telling you to do anything. But personally, ever since that announcement, I have stopped dollar cost averaging into KDA. And I think I'll probably do it for the foreseeable future because my point of view is this. I'm still going to hold because during an altcoin season, again, like I mentioned earlier on the video, sometimes things can randomly do something. And I'm not only just holding KDA, by the way, so it is what it is. I'm down by a lot when it comes to KDA. What can I do about it? But at the same time, I hold other projects too. So hopefully maybe KDA goes to like $100 million market cap or something like that during an altcoin season. Maybe I recoup some of my losses. That's just my mentality as of right now. I'm not telling you to do anything again, right? That's just personally what I'm doing. But I'll have to wait and see. Now, some people like to say, okay, are you ever going to be dollar cost averaging again? Now, again, I'll see. Because either Charles, if he either wants to rescue the Kadena organization, now that's a different case. If that maybe happen, I'll still dollar cost average. But so far, I haven't seen anything when it comes to that. Maybe he could just even want to be hiring some people from the team, right? Who knows? So there's a lot of ambiguity when it comes to that. Now, also on top of that, if let's say Kadena can successfully transition to community governance and maintenance and I start seeing some progress there, then at that point I'm going to start dollar cost averaging again, but I haven't seen any of those two factors as of right now. And the only way I would ever dollar cost average again into KDA is if either of those two options happen. If they did not happen, I'm not going to be dollar cost averaging into KDA anymore, but I'm still going to be holding. I'm not telling you to do anything, by the way, but clearly I hold other projects too. And that's kind of the importance, I think, sometimes of not just only holding one project, because in theory, we just don't know what's going on when it comes to the team, right? Like, personally for me, I don't know what's going on when it comes to Kadena like a week ago when it comes to the team. I could just take a look at the price chart when it comes to KDA, and I can just take a look at the updates. That's it. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. But nonetheless, if there is something that comes up, I'll talk about it, and I'll just wait and see what happens when it comes to Kadena. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a nice day. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.